That's awesome.
Well, welcome everybody. I am excited. I'm hoping, I think we're probably just getting ready to go live. So, I'm excited about that. Let's wait a few more seconds. And then I'm going to welcome everybody to our wonderful webinar here with Happy Grasshopper and Dan Stewart. I am totally excited. You know what, Dan? It's true. I am totally excited by this because I've been on the waiting list. And what is that all about, right? I mean, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. So everybody, please tell us where you're from. Welcome, everybody. Let us know your city and state that you're from. I am excited to get to know everybody here. So we've got Orange County, California. Yay. It's so beautiful in Southern California. Ventura, Charlotte, San Diego. Whoa, look at all my peeps from that area. Wow.
You're going to just skip right over my buddy Tom.
Yeah, I can't keep up. It's going so fast. Plano, Texas, Atlanta, Greensboro, Peachtree, Maryland, Portland. Hey, you know what, Dan? We are going to rock this today because we've got some amazing people. Fresno, California, welcome, right at the back of my neighborhood here. Atlanta metro area, Farmington, Salt Lake. All right, Lake Tahoe, yay. I can keep going, but anyway, let's hit it. Dan, welcome again.
Thank you.
From Happy Grasshopper. Just some housekeeping rules here. Guys, I want to make a quick announcement. We have our Chapter 2021 coming up tomorrow with amazing authors. If you guys can sign up, that would be great. Chapter2021.com is the place to go to. And of course, as always, we are going to be recorded and we will be on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, LabCoatAgents, if you do need to go away quickly or you're here for a short time. So take it away, Dan. Give us a little bit of an introduction about Happy Grasshopper, and I'd love to do this mastermind with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in. We're going to cover a lot of great stuff today. And
awesome.
Before we do all that, though, I just want to say what a privilege it is to get to spend time with you.
Oh, thank you.
Like we are literally just getting to know each other, and every single thing I hear about you is amazing.
Oh,
yeah, so just
really,
congratulations on being an awesome human being. That's really
Thank you. Same here with you. I'm grateful.
So I'm going to open my screen share here.
Okay.
And, I'm going to share some slides. So let's get these slides popping up here real quick because we're here for a reason, right? We've got a purpose in showing up here today, and I'm just committed to delivering on that purpose. So we're going to talk about winning in a crazy market. As if it's not hard enough to win in a normal market, right? Then we get these crazy markets sometimes, and everything can get really nuts. So my goal is to bring a little peace and calm to that today. Okay. And it's also really to engage with everyone who's here as participants, not as observers, but participants. So today, each of you are going to have the opportunity to step into the conversation with us. And what that means is that we will be watching the chat constantly.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be super interactive all day. And all day lasts a whopping 1 hour, right? So you definitely want to...
Let's make it the best 1 hour possible so everyone can take some pieces of nuggets out of here, because we are definitely in a crazy market, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to be the kind of person who improves steadily throughout my life. And that means I have to write stuff down. Like there's something about doing that helps us apply the things that we're learning. So I will encourage each of you to take notes today. I'll also say that, even though you see Happy Grasshopper on the screen right now, this is really not a Happy Grasshopper webinar, right? So if you're here because you want to buy our stuff, there's the number. You can call our staff. You could book a tour for yourself if you want to do that. The purpose today is really to serve you by helping you win in a crazy market. It's not to sell our stuff. So I want to also make sure that we clarify a couple of things. So I used to be someone without gray hair. Like that is a true thing. That's my wife, Kenley. That's me, believe it or not.
Wow.
I know. I age. Ouch, right? It happens. My wife looks more beautiful than she did even then, but here I am today. So I want to share some of this stuff because I'm at that phase in my career where really pouring back into people is the biggest exciting thing I can even think of doing. So, I feel like I need to share a little bit with you about who I am.
Absolutely.
So that you can understand the perspective I'm coming from. Happy Grasshopper is my 7th company. I've built and failed. I've built and held. I've built and sold. And along the way, I've learned a few truths that I consider to be really foundational. So if you're watching this webinar and you're trying to figure out whether or not there's anything I've got to teach you, if these truths strike you as things you're interested in, I think we're going to get along great. So
here's my notebook. I'm going to be making notes. Just thought I'd let you know.
Awesome. Awesome. Definitely want to keep those notes.
Yes.
So your core belief for me is that no matter how great we already may be, there's always room for improvement, right? There just is. Like none of us want to go, oh, I used to be so good, and now I'm just like here. That's not awesome. We want to be great. So that starts with just having the expectation that it's possible to continue to improve. And, I think from a marketing perspective, a business growth perspective, who we are really, truly matters. It does.
It does.
Your story, my story, who we are really impacts the level of service that we're able to provide others. So I think it's important to have a plan to tell that story the right way. And, I'll also say that whatever area of life you find challenging, and I'm very aware what year it is. Like I'm very aware of what we've all experienced over the past year and even just over the past week. We're living in unprecedented times. Like there's no one alive today who can say, oh yeah, I've done this before.
Right.
Right. So whatever we find challenging, I truly believe that the remedy to that, the cure for whatever's ailing us is in conversation. Like, that's where we learn from one another. It's where we raise our children. It's where we fall in love. It's where we negotiate contracts. It's where we negotiate peace treaties.
It's how we say it. What we say matters, right? I mean,
it does.
It's so important to know that. I mean, we can go into it deeper during the conversation, but I truly believe the conversation you have is the cure.
It makes a difference. So, if you're joining us here and you're just trying to get a taste, whether you want to hang out, if all of this sounds crazy to you, if you don't think these things are absolutely true, then I would welcome you to, go use your time somewhere else. That's fine. Like no judgment whatsoever. And yet, if you're watching this and you go, hey, that sounds about right, and I'm curious and I want to know more, you've come to the right place. So, today is going to be about having a conversation. It's not going to be all presentational throughout the session. So, provided you're willing to put up with me, a guy who raised a family that looks like this, then we're going to have some fun. And one last slide, and we're going to dig into some stuff. I want to share with you.
It's a small world, right?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. It is a small world.
It is a small world.
And the more conversation we have, the smaller it gets.
Yes. I mean, look, I know that place. I know I negotiated a contract being in this, in the boat. Yes. So how amazing is that we come back to talking about the small world in Disneyland and talking about building conversations. Like, this is great.
Yeah, I love that you spotted that and you brought that up so quickly. I mean, where do you see it's a small world here? There's no sign, right? And yet here we are, two human beings on opposite sides of a continent, and we found something we could connect on that we didn't know we shared just 2 minutes ago, right? So I want to be open to discovering these connections and experiencing them, because the more often, the more frequently we create that, the more we find comfort and peace in the world. The more we embrace our confidence, our ability to actually serve other people. It's through shared experience and shared goals. And, one thing I know is that all of us as entrepreneurs, we kind of measure ourselves not so much by our height or our weight, but kind of by our net worth, right? It makes a difference. So I'm going to share this slide with you, not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that, I was a waiter, right? I waited tables for a living. And today I get to live here, and I get to choose to spend my time with people I love, doing things I value and serving others. So, no matter where you are in life, you can get where you want to go, because if I can do it, anybody can. Absolutely. So now it's time for us to actually shift gears here. We're going to talk about winning in this crazy market. And to do that, we got to first define it, right? So what's crazy? This is where I'm going to stop the screen share. We're going to start to have this chat, right? Mm-hmm. So right now in the chat, I want you guys to tell us about what's crazy in your market right now. What's happening that you would define as crazy?
Yeah, would love to get some action here. Okay, so Kim says 90 offers on one house. Okay. On one house, yeah, absolutely. A world pandemic, maybe, Brian? Yep, totally. Sheila says low amount of houses, low inventory. These are all good challenges to have. From Albuquerque currently has 513 homes for sale, extremely low inventory. So we're seeing the same thing happening across the nation. Multiple offers, wait list on build jobs. I mean, thank you guys. I mean, this is really interesting to and we know this is a common problem to have.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's say, is there a trend here?
Right.
With the low inventory market environment. Right. Is that crazy, or is that just part of what we should expect at some point during our real estate careers?
Yeah, that's, I mean, again, I think it is insanely crazy to have such low interest rates, plus no inventory, plus this pandemic, plus what, 20, 30, 40, 50 offers on a particular home because of the low inventory issues, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's all the rate is driving all this, the interest rates, right? Really, if you think about it, so.
I see 140 showings in 2 days and 45 offers. Despite making our offer as lucrative as possible, my buyer had no chance.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge that frustration for your buyer and for you. Wow. Right.
There's buyers have been beat out of this market, right? I mean, they start at a certain number and they end up at a certain number. So what is the defining, roles in all this of what is our defining role in all of this happening, right? Mm-hmm. That is something also to talk about.
Sure. So you're part real estate expert, you're part psychologist, right? You're part spiritual advisor. You got to talk them off the ledge from time to time. Yeah. You have to kind of read the tarot cards a little, right? You got to predict the future, and I mean, we
have to also make sure that we're within the guidelines of legality by saying, listen, we don't have a crystal ball as real estate agents, right? We just don't. We cannot guarantee anything. I mean, Tom saying the buyers pulling contingencies just to get a house and buying something that's got issues. I mean, that is a big thing as a sale, right? I mean, we are seeing this craziness happening all around.
And here, like, I love what Steve's commenting. The shift to remote offices. Mm-hmm. Now, there have been brokerages that have operated remotely for years. Yeah. And, myself as a business owner, I've had office space for almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. And now I work in my detached garage. This was my man cave, and now it's my office, right? So, we're all coping with a little bit of change there for sure.
And Bill, apologies if I pronounce your name wrong, but Bill Leiden says, my biggest frustration is that the buyers from away cannot get a chance to make a sane offer, which is so true. How many of these buyers will be upside down?
Right. There's some internal conflict there too, right? Because what happens when internally you start to feel like, ooh, am I really serving these people as a true fiduciary? Like, is it even possible when the values just seem to keep rising and rising and rising?
Absolutely.
Like Ruby's saying, rising too quickly. Which, if we believe as capitalists that it's up to the market to set the price, how do we reconcile that?
Right. And these are all real problems we're facing as
Hmm.
real estate agents. And our buyers are feeling it, but we're feeling it even more. And how are we to guide them and educate them and to make sure that we are we're winning over,
Right.
we're helping them win throughout the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much here. We need to start making a list, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to share my screen and we'll start to build some lists here. So let me go ahead and clear this. We'll get back to proactive, reactive here in a moment. So I hope, can you see my screen there? Did that pop up?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got a low inventory situation
Hmm.
where we've got massive volume,
Hmm.
right? The offers.
Massive volume of offers. Yep. Insanely low interest rates.
Yeah.
We've got, pandemic, the worldwide pandemic. That is
Mm-hmm.
another thing that Deborah Osborne said, long time for permits. Okay. Multiple offers within hours of live. Yep, that is so true. Deborah also said longer times for ordering builder supplies. So builders are also feeling the pain here. Shali John said wait list on build jobs. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? That we've got this environment where we can't possibly keep up with the demand and this low interest rate.
Right.
And we've got a pandemic where, it would be really irresponsible for the Fed to do anything to change this low interest rate environment. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it feels like a once in a generation, maybe a once ever perfect storm of conditions where, you're asked to solve the problem. I have a ton of equity. I want to exit. I want to take advantage of this, but then where do I go?
Where do I go? Right.
Yeah, all these things.
I
So,
think that's one of my problems right now. I've got tons of equity in my home, but where do we go? Everything is
right.
being beat out too, right?
Yeah. So, use of equity and where to go. These are issues for sure. So now we want to talk about solutions. Let's tap into the wisdom of our audience. Like, go ahead and call out the chat for us, things you're doing that you found effective in this environment. Like, I hope someone has said, oh, I have a magic spell. It creates listings. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. I mean,
That'd
look,
be
we're
great.
calling every single day for listings. We're doing our circle prospecting, our expireds, which hardly there are any expireds, but we are doing the circle prospecting calls to say, hey, we've got buyers that are looking in your neighborhood. So
Mhm.
that is something we're doing. Using the phone to call past clients. Yes, Christina, where I think this is the time to, really focus on your, nail down and focus on
Yeah.
past clients. What else are you doing for your past clients? We just sent out a holiday greeting card and something from AM Cards at Brownies, just to say, hey, thinking of you. How are you? Reaching out to sphere of influence. Deborah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Different ways to create this inventory, I think, is what we as realtors now need to think about proactively. How can we create the inventory for spring season?
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually two trends here in the suggestions I love, like reaching out to Sphere, using the phone to call past customers, right? Those are the sorts of things that work in every market.
Right.
Whether it's a low inventory market or a more normal, healthy market, or even a horrible market, you can never go wrong by reaching out and securing those relationships with the people who already know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that is the perfect example of the types of things that Sheila and Shally are talking about doing.
Right.
Like, Shally says, calling homes listed as backup because many offers do cancel. Right?
Oh, that's a good one. Wait a minute.
You know?
Yeah, that is a great one. Okay, calling homes listed as backup. Okay,
Right.
so basically calling the realtors and saying, hey, I am ready for my clients are ready for a backup offer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because many offers do cancel. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is so true.
And Sheila says, keep looking several times a day and ready to roll if one pops up. Put together a central package to old clients. Like, that's a great combination of something that's proactive and reactive. Like the first part is being highly reactive to the environment that we're in right now. And the other part is being proactive. Like she's prepared, she's ready to roll the moment something pops up, right? And you got to be prepared to do that. You can't say, oh, here's one, now let's go get prepared. You have to have done the work. And that's where I'm going to, like, guys, go ahead and screenshot this if you want to keep these notes. I'm about to clear this page, and we're going to talk about proactivity and reactivity. And I'm going to show you that I really believe you can use this market to create unprecedented prosperity, just like you could have used any other market to create unprecedented prosperity if you do a few of the right things the right way. So, all right, that's enough time there. I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and we'll talk about proactive versus reactive. And, you know, you may have caught a little while ago, I mentioned that I was a waiter. So I love me some people who've worked in the restaurant industry. So if you've worked in restaurants, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Give me a yes if you've worked in the restaurant business. I'll be looking for that.
No, we've got.
Look at this. Look at all this.
Wow. Tracy, Jennifer, Ruby, Lori, Kitty. Wow, this is amazing, you guys.
There is no better place to learn to be proactive than the restaurant business.
Right.
Because guess what? If you didn't order food and people show up to eat it, well, gosh, what are you going to cook for them? Like, you had to be proactive. You had to do your prep before they show up, right? If you were a server, you have to have the salt, the pepper, the sugar bowls filled. You've got to have the silverware rolled up, ready to go. You've got to have the menus wiped down so people have you've got to be ready. You got to be super, super proactive. And I think one of the things we discover as we build our businesses over time is that we start being very, very proactive. Like, these are the things I have to do for my business to thrive. We focus on that. And then we get so busy fulfilling business, we're constantly reacting. Another email comes in, a text comes in, a lead is here, a lead is there. And all of a sudden we're reacting to everything. We've taken our rudder out of the water. We no longer have complete control over the direction we're moving in. And that's when we start to experience more stress and less joy. And, you know, it may not happen initially, but eventually we see our results really start to fade.
And I think, and I think it's very important to know, are you working on your business? Are you working in your business? Because we're constantly checking emails, you know, answering the now.
Yeah.
What about 30, 60, 90 from today? Right? What about that business? What about building that inventory? I think that is,
So let's call out some of these reactive things that we find ourselves doing. Okay. So, and guys, chime off here in the chat as well. We'll jot these down. What are the things you didn't know you'd be doing today that you ended up doing today? That falls into reactive. Something happens and you have to react to it.
Something, things. Okay, so things you didn't know that you were going to do, didn't exist on your calendar, but you had to end up doing. Virtual consultations. Okay, answering unexpected phone calls. That is a good one. Lead response, right? I agree to that one as well. Learning new software. Okay, that's something good.
Okay.
Putting out fires, right? Working in the business, right, Deborah? That's so true. Again, you know, we're not constantly on, but we're always in our businesses. Closing disclosures was incorrect. Tom Blake said needed to chase closing attorney. So again, working in the transaction. For me, replying to emails, right? You know, we have listings coming on the market this week, and you know, making sure that, you know, our admins are scheduling the appointments, you know, the photography appointment, the virtual tour appointments. I think that becomes so reactive instead of really being proactive about the future.
You know, I love the example of chasing others, like whether it's an attorney, a stager, a photographer, an inspector, like whatever it is. Oh, doesn't that just hurt? It feels like such a time drain. So
Yeah.
a little bit of an aside here, I'll give you a pro tip for fixing that. In a previous company, I ran a large geotechnical contracting firm, and we had to work with subcontractors all the time. So after a couple of years of just frustration, I figured out that I had a way to get people to always show up and do my stuff first. Right. So, if you'd like to have your photographer and your stager and your plumber and whoever else show up first, let me just say yes in the chat right now. I'll tell you how to do that. It's really simple. I see some yeses.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Yep. Because wouldn't that make life a lot easier? Right.
Yeah, I would
so here's what you do. It's 3 steps. The first step is you set clear expectations, right? So, Mrs. Photographer, it's really important to me that my clients get great service, right? Because that reflects on me. So if I'm going to work with you, I need to know that you'll always be where you say you're going to be when you say you're going to be there. Can you do that for me? Yes, I can do that for you. Okay.
Setting expectations.
Excellent, right? And then in exchange, I promise you that I will always pay you right on time. You will never have to wait to get paid from me. You will never have to chase me to get paid. I will always make sure that you get paid right on time in exchange for that great service that you provide by always showing up. And, when I'm managing subcontractors and maybe a client is going to be the person who opens the door instead of me directly, well, if they're going to be 2 minutes late, I want them to have called that person and let them know they're 2 minutes late. So super clear with those expectations. So step 1, be clear with your expectations. Step 2, pay them on time. Step 3, enforce results. That simple.
When can I have this done by? Or how long will it take you? I think all of this also is how we talk to our clients. What kind of expectations are we setting with our clients?
There for sure.
Right.
So like if that photographer didn't show up, it's now 10 after when they were supposed to be there. And I get a call from my client saying, hey, didn't you say they were coming? What happened? Right. Well, I'm going to have a conversation with that person. I'm going to say, do you remember when we talked about how I would always pay you right now and you would always do this? Yeah, this just didn't meet expectations. It's not working for me. So I still like you. I think I want to work with you, but you've used the one chance I'm going to give you. So can we work together still? Are you never going to let me down like this again? And they say yes. They all say yes. And then you have to actually not work with them again after they let you down a second time.
All right.
So I promise you, once you have a list of quote subs, people you're referring that you can really rely on, your value goes up to your client and you become that much more referable.
Exactly.
Like they will feed business back to you. They don't even understand how they're doing it, but it's just by showing up on time. As long as you set expectations at work. Okay, so there's a bunny trail of value I didn't know we'd be going down. So let's jump over to the proactive side. So what can we do in our business to be proactive? What sorts of things do we think fall into this category?
So Brian says this is all everything that's reactive.
Oh, everything I just said about managing subs, absolutely.
Right.
So let's write that up here.
Yeah, managing expectations, right? Always making sure that we set deadlines, right? Time block. I think Steve is right. Time blocking.
Time block is very proactive. Now, the other part of that is you actually have to do it.
It's true.
Like, I'm human. I've time blocked activities that I really believe in, and then, I just don't feel like it. Has that ever happened? Of course.
All the time.
Of course. There's always something else.
Whirled out into, let me just check this. Let me just do this. Let me just pick up this call. It does happen. It happens.
So it's really time blocking plus discipline.
Discipline, right.
Otherwise, your time block just gets turned into reactive time. Okay. And, by the way, I didn't put it here on reactive, but let's just go ahead and own that social media is reactive.
It's very reactive.
Like, I didn't know I was going to get pulled down that bunny trail, right? But it'll happen on social.
Right.
And that's okay as long as you're not letting it interfere with your time blocks. So treat your time block time like an appointment with a client.
Mm-hmm.
Like, start that internal discipline. That's helpful. So what else do we do that's proactive that really serves us in our business so we can get out of the rat's nest? Ruby Raymond says, trying the 12-week year. Yeah, Desra Osborne, The Social Dilemma. Yeah, that it's diminished my social media time for sure.
Yeah. Lead
So
generation.
Tom says lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, guys, I love me some Tom Catlin
Yeah.
in Austin, Texas. He's a good dude. Love to see you here, Tom.
Lead conversions, I would say we've got to make time to do our lead conversions, lead generation, lead follow-up. I think those are all proactive, and that can be cumbersome, but at the same time, you have to be proactive about it.
So I would say lead generation is definitely something that's proactive. I think, conversion and follow-up, you're reacting to what's been created there. So, like one of the things we do is interview our members and create these very custom follow-up campaigns that are triggered in response. So, like I wouldn't personally want to respond to every single lead that my business was generating. That's just too much to personally respond to.
Mm-hmm.
So, leveraging a system, whether it's ours or anybody's, like you can save a lot of time by doing that. That's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you just quick announcement again, if you aren't already subscribed to our LabCoatAgents YouTube channel, please do subscribe, youtube.com channel, and then, obviously LabCoatAgents. This webinar will be posted there. I know a few of you guys asked us a question about, hey, is this being recorded? Absolutely it is, and it will be on our YouTube channel later.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So back to proactive. There's something that came up earlier we discussed on this. It was brought up by one of you that hasn't been brought up again. And I think it's actually the very largest thing we can do to build our businesses. So,
well, Brian here says creating plans, checklists, templates that can be easily implemented for activities in the future. Obviously creating a system, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
System, following the system, creating the tools for it. And obviously at the end of the day, having leverage. I think leverage is a big part of our business that we tend to, A personalities, obviously like me, would want to do everything, not understanding there is something called leveraging and hiring the right people to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough sometimes. You care so much. You really enjoy doing a great job for people. It's tough sometimes to let go. So
yeah, you're telling me.
One of the best, if not the single best thing we can do to be proactive in our business is database.
Database, yes.
Right. Now, just like writing that word down, some people are going, oh, I feel guilt on pain already. Because database is one of those things, like, on a scale of 0 to 10, dear listeners, what would you give your database right now? Go ahead and enter that on the chat. Scale is 0 to 10, 0 the worst. We all know how to do this. 10 the best. What would you say your database is?
Sheila's saying 4, 6.43. Too embarrassed to say, yeah, I know. I do want to address something that someone, I think Deborah Levy said, can we dig deeper into how to address a shortage of housing and how to set a buyer expectation? And I'm sure that is coming up very soon, Deborah.
Yeah, we're going to circle back. We're going to circle back to that. It all connects here. Like, we'll see this. And so keep these coming in, guys. I want to see your score here. We got 3, 6, 3, 6. 8, too embarrassed to say. Tom, 6.43. Sheila, a 4. Like, whatever score you would give yourself here, I tell you, I asked this question, and I almost never sense a sense of satisfaction among agents about the quality of their database, right? And it's such a shame because your database is sincerely your most valuable asset.
Right.
It protects you from anything that can happen. No matter what happens in a great market, it helps you. A bad market, it helps you. An in-between market, a market in shift. Like there's nothing that can insulate you from struggle more than relationships. So we need to take a minute here and talk about the difference between a database and a group of people with whom you actually have a relationship.
Yep.
There's a difference there. We can have a list of thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and we can know their age and their gender and their political party and which social media sites they're members of. We can have all of that data. We can know their address. We can know their equity. We can look up how long they've owned their home. We can have all of this data.
Right.
Without the relationship, it's almost worthless. Right? Mm-hmm. So let me challenge you to recognize that the purpose of having a database is to help you keep track of and build better relationships with the people that are in it. You win no prizes by having the most names in your CRM. It does not help. And yet you can win everything by having the right relationships in your CRM.
Right.
Okay?
Totally agree.
So, then we have to address, well, why the heck don't people do this? Why doesn't everybody say, oh, my database is 10? If it really is the most valuable thing, if it really is your most valuable asset, why are so many people dissatisfied with it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a little bit of a hard conversation, and it's one that, like, I'll give you the cliff notes on. Right? It has to do with fear. Right? I sold this person a home. I helped them buy a home. It's now been 2 years since I've talked to them. Oh my gosh, I feel so guilty about that. What are they going to say when I reach out? What if they don't like their home? It was so stressful at the end and now they haven't heard from me. How's that going to go? Right? Have you ever felt that way?
All the time, Dan. I mean, I am I'm admitting it right here. I am guilty of that because, you feel like, oh my God, I've not reached out in so long because I've been so involved in day-to-day business that I forgot to get in touch with my past clients. And
get so caught up with the reactive.
Exactly.
Right?
And Brian says because we aren't proactive about our databases, and that is so true.
Yeah, we should be. I mean, we really truly should be, because it makes everything else easier. Right? I mean, if you were super proactive in your database right now, I want you to answer this question honestly. Do you think there's a possibility that people who are ready to sell their home would actually want to sell it with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's one way to solve your inventory problem, isn't it? Right?
Exactly. That is a good aha right there.
Hey.
That is a way to solve. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. If anybody was sleeping, not now. This is what he just said. I mean, this is a big takeaway that you just said, was that if you were not proactive about your database, that's where some of your inventory could possibly be, right?
So that's a big reason. That's a big reason to say, you know what, I have to get past my fear.
Yeah. And like Deborah just said, sometimes we work so hard to find the next client that we don't stay in touch with what we already have. And you are absolutely right, Deborah, which we just got through saying is so true. That we get so involved with, future building of our business, we forget we've got the future right here, only if we stay in touch with our database.
Yeah, it's true, right? And here's the thing. Like, wherever you are in your business, whether this is your 30th year or your first, people are people. They all have to live somewhere. Mm-hmm. And the person who builds the relationship and maintains it wins in every market scenario. Period. Right? There's nothing that will trump that. There's no amount of marketing that's going to displace a real relationship. In other words, if your relationship is strong enough, Your client, your past client, your sphere, they're immune to the marketing efforts of your competition, right? They're immune to that. And yet that does not happen automatically. To create that scenario, you have to have a strategy for communication. So I'm going to break that down for you because this is a large project for me in my life. You have to have a communication plan that makes sense for people who know you, right? That's different than leads. Like, we're just going to talk about one small segment of the population of the planet, people who actually already know who you are. So, to create the best outcome with those people, this is what we need.
And here's another thing, Dan. I mean, just like our title says, winning in this crazy market, these are the steps to definitely take, is to be in touch with your past clients, to build that inventory, right? In this crazy low inventory market. So instead of saying, hey, it's a low inventory like we all do, including me, we can say now we are going to create the inventory. Second is being proactive or active, reactive about it. And obviously now it's how we communicate. Which way are we communicating with our listing agents or our buyers or our past clients, whatever that might be, right? To make it a win-win in this crazy environment that we're in.
Yeah, it always should be a win-win. I mean, absolutely always should be. And, part of that means you shouldn't have to cut the trail yourself all the time. You can learn from what other people have done over time. So, just for example here, my company is 10 years old. We're currently nurturing over 16 million contacts for real estate professionals. We know exactly how frequently we need to communicate with people in order to create results. So 17 non-salesy emails per year, that's once every 3 weeks. 12 texts and 12 voicemail drops per year, that's 41 touches over the course of a year. And, the way this breaks down, like the non-salesy emails, that's 1x 3 weeks, right? The texts and the voicemail drops, we're going to have birthday. Whoops, I can write. Transaction anniversary. We're going to have quarterly lead harvesting texts. And then 6 holidays. Okay, so that's 12 texts, and we're going to use 12 voicemail drops because we want to do the 1-2 punch here. So I want you to get a text from me a week before your birthday, asking if I'm the first to wish you a happy birthday, right? And then on your birthday, I want you to hear my voice in your voicemail box, where it's that more human touch, and yet it's all fully automated. So, we've worked really hard over 10 years measuring all the data and figuring out which content works and which content doesn't work. And then I've worked with Tristan and Nick to pull all this together into LCA Nurture for you guys. So let me share with you what that is all about here. I'm going to stop my screen share on this screen, and we're going to jump over to a different desktop here. So first place I'm going to come is the messaging library inside LCA Nurture. So I'm actually logged into an account right now, and you'll see we have content here that our writers have created. It's categorized and it's ready to go. So I'm going to preview this "Did you see this" message, right? And it's about these Boston Dynamics robots. Have you seen this story, Janki?
No.
So this is kind of creepy, actually. These robots, you feel like if that was programmed to kill you, you'd be in the Terminator movie.
Oh, wow.
It's really amazing how they're able to move. So we got a link to this video. We're asking questions about it. We're creating a conversation with someone who knows us that's not about real estate. That's really important. These are non-salesy emails demonstrating that you care enough about the person to keep in touch with them without having a sales agenda. Super, super important thing to do. Now, some of our members will see this message and they'll go, oh, I hate it. Well, tell us, rate it that way, right? And if you love it, tell us that, because that lets our system learn your preferences and also the preferences of our other members.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Okay? Now, once every 2 weeks, our writers push all new content here. So, like, quick question for you, by the way, pro tip, that is the highest opening subject line we've ever tested in 10 years. So, quick question for you. I'm doing a quick little survey and could really use your input. If you can, could you answer a few questions? Because of the pandemic, almost every movie theater around the country had to close its doors, right? Have you ever been to a drive-in? Would you ever go again? Do you think drive-ins would be a safe, fun alternative? Like, the point is not to talk about drive-ins, right? The point is to have a conversation that leads somewhere else.
Right.
So you get replies to these messages. Like I'll preview another one here. Breaking bad habits kind of crack me up because these are all pandemic habits. I know I've picked up a few of these during the past year.
And this is such good information, Dan, because it actually relates back again to what we're trying to do here is engage the audience, engage our databases, and, making it to where we can win with them in continuous conversations. I think that is so important that, again, we tend to forget.
Yeah. I have a client who called it commission breath once, and I never forgot that. Like, we work so hard on our scripts, right? We forget sometimes that it's better just to show up as a human.
Right. It's so simple. Just show up and, be engaging in the current conversations with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here just in having these conversations.
Right.
Now, I'm going to jump around here. I want to show you guys what we've built for you in LCA Nurture. On the left-hand side, we have a dashboard with some stats for you, training videos, and then we have different types of sends. So send by audience is email. And like I've just shown you, the content here is refreshed once every 2 weeks. Then we have handwritten cards, voicemail drops, and text messaging. So I'm going to click on voicemail drops. We have these scripts here ready for you to go. And like here, I'll just preview the birthday script. And then all I have to do is click record voicemail drop, speak right into my computer microphone, and wham, out your birthday messages go right on time.
This is amazing. Yeah.
So it's so easy to do this. Right. It really is.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to show you there's like quarterly lead harvesting content, birthday. You see some holiday messages. When you're first setting up your account, our system walks you through. It tells you how to do everything here. Like, it takes you through every step to make sure the account is set up and ready to go. And we also have training videos here where you can just watch directly how to do it. So we really do everything we can here to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
Now, when you're on your dashboard, like I'll scroll down here on this one, we're identifying.
Dan, you know what I love? I love the fact that you can actually just hit a button and record. I mean, how easy is that?
Right.
Nothing fancy, just something simple saying, hey, I'm wishing you a very happy birthday today. I hope you have a great day. And, that's it. Like, personally coming from you, again, you are going to be the realtor of choice when they're ready to buy or sell or invest again. That's another nugget for you.
So many of us only hear from our agents when our agent needs something. So for us to be the people who show up when we don't need anything really goes a long way. It means a lot. So I'm going to just show you guys a couple of things here. Like Spencer, in this database, his birthday is coming up, right? So if I want to send him a text right now, here it's queued up. Hi, Spencer, it's Dan Stewart. Am I the first to wish you a happy birthday this year? I hope so. Do you have any plans? Like, that message is queued up. I can edit it if I want to. Otherwise, I just click send and whoosh, out it goes.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So super easy to do.
Everything is just set for you.
Yeah. Yep. It's just there, ready to go. Now, I showed you the voicemail drops. I want to jump over to text messaging. So we have this library here of lots of content you can use. And we also regularly post new content there for you. When you're first using text messaging, we need to set up a phone number for you. So like you would just pop in your area code, you'd search for a phone number, you just choose it and then add it to your account. So like I'll type in my my area code here, just for example. We see all the numbers that are available, tons of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So then when that number is added, like here's the text number that I've set up. It forwards calls to my regular number if somebody should call that number.
Wow.
Okay. That's important because, you know, we are FCC compliant. We're not going to spoof that we're sending it from your phone number.
Sorry about that, Dan.
Yep.
Scott has a quick question for you.
Sure.
Does this integrate with Follow Up Boss and BombBomb?
Ah, yeah. I love those questions. We integrate with practically everything.
Okay.
So like here I'm coming to settings and clicking on integrations. You can just drop your Follow Up Boss API key in and boom, it syncs right up, makes it easy. We've got an integration with Revaluate, which is super cool. In fact, we're including Revaluate free for LCA Nurture members right now. And I don't know, do you even know what Revaluate is? It's so cool.
No.
So they're a predictive analytics company, and they essentially are determining the likelihood that someone's going to move in the next 6 months. And we're able to report that data. So
there you go. Another way to create inventory in this crazy market. These are little pieces of nuggets that you guys can actually take. How do you create this inventory, right? And here's another wow factor here.
So like you see the Revaluate score here for each contact record. And in this demo account, we don't actually have anybody who's likely to move. When people are likely to move, the score is above 80. We identify these people to you right here inside your account. Contacts with Revaluate score above 80, right?
Yeah, so, I love this. So tell us a little bit more about how we can get into, are we going to be put on a wait list again? Dan?
Well, we've been running the waiting list. When we launched this just a couple of months back,
okay,
you know, LCA is a big community. We didn't want to turn it on so quickly for everyone that we didn't have a chance to like tweak this and tweak that. And we're coming to the end of that phase, right? So ordinarily, I would have everybody join the waiting list and then we'll let you know when it's time. But right now, you can just go to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. And I think we'll drop that into the chat here for you guys. So you have that. Tessa just did. Thank you for doing that. So that's there. And like we'll scroll down. I'll show you guys some amazing things here. First of all, we've got our launch pricing preserved for you guys, the audience that's here with us today. So that's up for almost a week. Like there's no high pressure close here. This is the right thing for you to do. Just get it done before the 17th. And you're going to save some money and get a bunch of cool free stuff. So this page goes through and shows you everything. It shows you content. It shows you what's sent, when sent, how it's sent. Like we're answering everything, even testimonials from people who are using it now. So like I love Randall's story here. He found 4 sides and almost 2 million in sales from just one email message.
So how do we get started on this, Dan? Say, for example, I'm ready now.
Yep.
What is the best way for me to start?
Well, you just come to this page.
Okay.
Then you click Buy Now.
Okay.
You choose whether you want to sign up monthly or annually. One clear point here, guys. Revaluate can only be included in the annual plan.
Okay.
Now, $47 per month or $470 per year, right? That means you get 2 months free when you do the annual plan. So,
okay.
You know, you get 2 months free and get Revaluate. So all you have to do is come here and click Buy Now. You'll fill out this form to get signed up. We'll send you your login credentials and a receipt. It'll come right to your email inbox. And then you'll just follow the steps. When you come to your account for the first time, let me scroll back up to the top.
Now,
it's going to give you this tour.
Okay, and another question that just came in from Tammy. Do you integrate with Chime?
We have hundreds of integrations with different services. In LCA Nurture, like I want to be really, really clear about this. We're talking about your past clients in your sphere. It's only for that segment of your database who actually knows who you are. Okay. So let me jump over here. And I see your question, Kitty. I love it. We have a direct integration with Command via PySync, and we have nearly 1,000 KW people who have Command that are using our services. So there's lots of reasons: the content, the deliverability, and the effectiveness of our program. So I'm going to jump over to, this is just Happy Grasshopper's pricing page. So I want to talk about Chime there for a moment. Most of our clients that are using Chime or Boomtown or Sierra or Real Estate Webmasters or Commissions Inc., they're running our pro plans because they're generating lots of leads each month. So in that scenario, we catch the leads as they're being created, and we follow up with those leads automatically with content that was written specifically for you.
Okay.
Like I have a staff of professional writers. We assign a writer to our member. They interview you and they create all that content. That's in our pro plan. So now I'll jump back over to the LCA Nurture page. So to answer your question, all you need to do is really just go to happygrasshopper.com, meet LCA Nurture, happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture, and then click the Buy Now button. And we'll take it from there. Okay.
And now, to be very, very clear, this particular system is only for your past clients and sphere of influence, correct?
That's right. People who know you. Like,
people who know you, okay.
You know, ask yourself, if I ran into this person at the grocery store, would they go, "Oh, hey, how are you?"
Okay.
Like,
and so two quick questions. One from Michael saying, where do I get the list of most likely sellers? And then Kitty asked, how many contacts will this handle?
Great questions. So for LCA Nurture, it's capped at 250 contacts.
Okay.
If you need more than that, we have upgrade accounts that you can certainly upgrade to. That's fine. But for people who actually know who you are, the list is generally smaller.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I hear that. Do you hear my dog barking outside?
Listen, it's a pandemic. We're all working from home. It's okay.
And then Michael's asking, where do you get the list of most likely sellers?
Right.
So this is the best thing. When you're logged in to LCA Nurture, when you've got your contacts loaded, they're automatically being scrubbed by Revaluate.
Okay.
So as soon as they're loaded into the system, Revaluate is going to work, letting you know what's happening with them. And you'll notice, like if we look at a contact record here, it reports when it was last changed. So every single day, like here you see today at 1:32 a.m., Revaluate posted new data for us about this contact. So it runs every single day throughout the year. And then of course we notify you via the dashboard in the system when those people are ready to move.
Awesome. This is so cool. Okay. All right. So Scott says he wants this. All right. Get it, Scott. I think it'll be great, especially with, the Revaluate part. So any other questions we have from our audiences? The last one was, how many contacts will this handle? I think this is an amazing platform, especially with the LCA Nurture segment part of it. And again, guys, this is recorded on YouTube. It'll be available on YouTube. It is being recorded live. One more question that just came in. So Scott says, I have about 1,000 in my sphere. How much more will that cost me? Okay,
this is a great question. And it's not great because of the cost. Like that doesn't matter because the ROI is what matters. The issue of 1,000 people is where I want to spend a moment just picking that apart a little bit. So if there are 1,000 people who actually know you and who should say hi to you if they saw you across the street, that's amazing. Like that is a truly outstanding thing. usually people who have that many contacts in your database, you end up with like people you hope know you. Like they registered at your open house a few years ago.
It's a good
So
problem
hopefully
to
they
have.
know you,
It's a
right?
good problem to have.
Yeah. So in LCA Nurture, the style of communication is really personal.
Mhm.
You know, if I registered at an open house and I got one of those messages, it would feel weird. Like, so the Nurture and the Pro accounts from Happy Grasshopper are really designed for those larger database segments. And I see here, Scott, you've been selling real estate for 25 years, so I love it. You're the rare exception. You have probably 1,000 past clients. So
Yeah.
what we would need to do is just expand the size of your database to accommodate that, provided you can give me like a pinky promise that those people actually know who you are, right? So that's important.
Yep. So like I said earlier, go ahead, Dan.
Just one other thing, when contacts are being loaded, we often see that like you might have someone in your phone 4 times, in your Gmail 6 times, in your CRM 5 times. So they're all merged and deduplicated automatically. So we don't end up sending 1,100 messages.
Right, right. And again, guys, this is being recorded. So, please do go to our, a YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you aren't already subscribed. Anyway, so I had a great time. This is such a short time for us, Dan, but
Blink, an hour.
Thank you.
Crazy.
Right. Again, guys, very clearly defined, how do you win in this crazy market? We've got some good at least I know I did, some great tips from Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. LCA Nurture, Happy Grasshopper. This is going to be good. And again, the link has been posted again right here. Please do not forget our chapter2021.com happening tomorrow. We've got a few hours, last few hours to register for it. It's going to be amazing with some great authors. I'm so excited about that as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And again, thank you, Dan, for your time. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Dan.
See ya.
Bye.